because it is in the doing of the work that you will actually get to see results.
Wow.
And the results will give you the motivation to continue the whole cycle over and over again, and even get more and better results.
Yeah.
So be ready to do the work and try to understand what works for you. And that can be done maybe by reading, talking to people, listening to podcasts, listening to those who have done it.
Do you think that most people are overwhelmed by life, or have no time, or it's just poor planning? Speak for yourself.
Why are you talking to me directly?
What do you think?
I think sometimes you're just overwhelmed. We can all agree to that. Let's just be realistic. Sometimes we are just overwhelmed, especially like if you have like close deadlines.
Oh yeah.
So maybe you have like activities maybe at work or at school school, but they have like deadlines that are following each other. Then sometimes you might be okay with proper planning. You could be able to overcome that overwhelming because you already knew like firsthand.
Yes.
But if those things come, maybe I tell you tomorrow you're supposed to do this. You see, like our mothers, when they tell you need to remove this thing from the table, then you need to, like, you might be overwhelmed in that specific step. But if you actually start planning yourself, then maybe I have to begin with A, then go to B, then I can, then it will not, it will be overwhelming in your mind, but slowly by slowly, you can be able to achieve it. Yes. So I think sometimes we're just overwhelmed, but now sometimes we're just poor planners, and I can attach that to also poor time managers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just know you are supposed to do something, but the fact that you know you have more time, you can still do it today. You like that, having that tomorrow attitude, which is a very wrong attitude. It's a very wrong attitude that is brought about by the procrastination mentality. So having that attitude it makes you not be able to plan yourself well, and now eventually be overwhelmed with whatever that you are supposed to do, because now you didn't do it at the right time.
I think for me, I would say, speaking for myself, I would say for me, what has been making me feel overwhelmed is maybe poor planning. Because comparing it to when I was really managing my time well, just waking up a little bit earlier than I am right now, and having a to-do list that actually works for me and works for my day, comparing that time and when I stopped doing some of these things, especially waking up a little bit earlier, I realized there's a big difference. When I was so specific with my to-do list and planning, I was getting most done within a very short time. By, let's say, 2 or 3 p.m., I would be done with most of the things. But when you incorporate it with schoolwork and also adjust your to-do list with to fit into the schoolwork, you realize you will be done by the end of the day with most of the things. But when I stopped doing some of these things, I started feeling like I'm so overwhelmed, and this made me to go back to the basic routine, and also the to-do list again also. So I would say for me, I feel like maybe it's just not proper planning.
Yeah, I think most of us proper planning, and I think we need to learn how to plan ourselves.
Yeah, and I think we're going to change.
We have to. The narrative has to change. We can't always be saying that we are going to. We just have to make that decision and change. Yeah.
Wow.
Myself, which is the next big one.
There's no big one. They're all the same. They're all the same. They're all the same. Let me assure you.
Okay. Maybe now this is talking to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. What would you tell someone who is trying to start a journey to intellectual development?
I think I would say Be patient and just start. Use technology to your advantage and focus on changing the systems. Change the mindset. A mindset is also a system.
Yes.
And it is, I think it's one of the hardest, some of the hardest things to change about you, because if you're not changing your mindset, then probably your personality or your identity will still remain attached to your previous mindset, and you're not going to move, because it's like it's going to be a barrier to you moving. So try and change the system, and the system here is the mindset. Cultivate it and just don't focus on the outcome. Yes, that's what I would tell such a person.
For me, what I would say to
Yeah.
you, if you are in that specific situation, be ready to do the work. We can change. Yes, I agree, we have to begin with that one. We have to begin with changing our mindset, but
Yes.
after we have changed the mindset, then be ready to do the work,
Yeah, very
because
true.
it is in the doing of the work that you will actually get to see results.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
the results will give you the motivation to continue the whole cycle over and over again, and even get more and better results.
Yeah.
So be ready to do the work and try to understand what works for you. And that can be done maybe by reading, talking to people, listening to podcasts, listening to those who have done it before, whatever you want to do, whatever area you want to measure your intellectual development on. Listen to people who have done it before and get to understand what has worked for them, and just learn from either their mistakes and ensure that you don't do the same mistake again. But for sure, be ready to do the work and actually put in the work, because if you put in the work, definitely the results will be
very
there.
true.
At first, maybe it might not be easy, definitely yes, but we are not saying we give up. We are not a giving up community.
Yeah.
We have to keep on pushing
And just be patient.
and be patient with the whole process.
Okay, so what happens when you feel overwhelmed? That is when trying to balance between school, work, friends, relationships, etc. What do you do?
What do I do? Edda, what do you do?
Please talk to your the elder within.
Yeah, I have to ask myself, what do we normally do? For me, how I have been able to manage me being overwhelmed, and mostly it is because of the poor planning. On things that I can be able to manage them easily, because sometimes doing things alone, especially things that I don't enjoy doing, especially and I think those are the things that I keep on postponing.
Oh yeah.
I've realized that. So on things that I cannot be able to do myself, I try to partner myself with somebody who I know is good in that specific thing. And once I've done that, so sometimes I don't have to push so much, because I know they will push.
Oh yeah.
They will definitely push. They enjoy, so they will definitely push. So I don't have to put all my energy there. So I get some time to focus on these other things that I know I have to focus my attention on. But when sometimes I'm overwhelmed with just life generally, working out helps me, and also just connecting with nature. Breathing in fresh air, it helps. There is something it does to just your whole ecosystem, and it changes the way. Sometimes you can just be in the house and you're not feeling, or maybe you're not getting the kind of results that you are looking for, but just stepping out for like 2 minutes and maybe coming back, you will get to see a different way of whatever that you are seeing that was not making sense. So working out, courtesy of Gertrude Nasike.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
She's the partner that I'm talking about. She is. Yeah, so just doing that, and I think nature sometimes just gives answers that we take for granted.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, you've already given a hint. Of course, now working out is, and especially outdoors, it just helps me release and forget about some of the stuff. And resting.
Mm.
It's something I've struggled with for long. Like, just being okay with just resting. It has not been so easy until sometimes you
Mm.
tell Gertrude, you just need to sometimes just to sit and rest. Because I'm always like sitting and I'm like,
It's wasting time.
something should be done at this point.
Mm.
So sometimes it's something I'm trying to do, and finally just resetting. And by resetting, for me, I normally just go back to square zero, looking at where it all began in my routine, in my to-do list. Am I consistent? Am I working on my mindset or the things that would really fire me up in the morning for the day and keep me in a consistent mode the entire day?
Mm.
So I normally go back to that. And sometimes you find once I've worked on my routine and the basics, everything else just flows. And I get back to now managing to work on the task that actually planned for the day.
Oh,
I agree. That resetting works magics, really, because you're going back to square zero, the foundation. Where did it? When did the rain start visiting me up? Yeah, very chill. Yeah. So, wow. Like the last one, yeah, it's you. At least I'm not forgotten things now. It wouldn't be nice. It wouldn't be nice. Yeah.
oh, okay. Please.
I have where you
I
stop.
don't like. I think this was just a good way for us to end. So the next question is, how do you establish and communicate personal boundaries for mental health?
Hmm. I think I would say it's something I've struggled with in the past,
Mhm.
but right now, it's something I've managed to work around. Initially, I would just keep quiet and be the good person for peace sake, and just sometimes even like take accept that you are at fault for like situations that are not really your fault. But with time, I came to understand people really take advantage of this,
Mm.
and so with time, I slowly have come to a point that right now I'm very direct with people. Even with family, like my family knows, and I know sometimes to some people it looks mean, it looks rude, but it's just that I nowadays um, inform people, especially friends, what my boundary is or what I cannot take. If it's something that doesn't sit well with me, I've gained the courage to actually tell you, like, Eda, at this point, I'm not in a position to do this,
Mm.
or at this point, I feel like what you did might not be okay, or you would probably have done this in this other way. Another thing is for friends, if I feel like the energy is consistently being a draining one, I would still engage. Maybe, yes, I love the friends, but I would reduce the contact or keep some distance. Yeah.
Mm.
So we might not be as close and so much as probably we used to be, but just to ensure that I protect that
Your
energy.
energy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because sometimes, also telling people, some people might feel it's like so bad, or maybe you're saying from a wrong point of view. Yeah, so I think that's what works for me nowadays. I would tell someone directly, and I would also just keep distance if I feel like it's just consistent that I'm getting a draining energy from this person.
Mm. Yeah, I yeah, it's the same thing as well for me.
Mm-hmm.
But now, what is different? Okay,
Yeah.
for me, for people that
Mm-hmm.
I maybe we just meet once
Yeah,
or
yeah,
twice,
yeah.
or we are actually, or maybe it's just the first time that it is
Yes.
happening,
Mm-hmm.
that I felt maybe whatever you said was not,
Okay.
it wasn't okay with
Mm-hmm.
me. Sometimes I just brush it off,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, right now
Mm-hmm.
it is like maybe we just met,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think we are going to have any communication again. So that I let it go.
Yeah.
But now, if maybe we get to have a meeting again and maybe we have a conversation again and then it comes up again, now that is when I will communicate.
Wow.
But now for friends, even me, it is the same thing. Right now, I am okay to just state exactly what I am okay with and what is bothering me. So, and I will say it in a good way, such that I I expect you as my friend to respect my boundary. And if you tell me, if I tell you maybe I was not okay with this, then I expect you as my friend, as a good friend, because that is what I would do as an individual. I would just be able to respect whatever boundaries that you set with me. So yeah, and also as you have said, just trying to protect the energy, because energy is very easily transferred.
Yeah, very
So
much.
if I feel like I am in a negative surrounded environment, then it is better for me to remove myself, because it is better. I'm in control of myself.
Yeah, true.
It is easier for me to remove myself than just staying in the same zone and keeping on complaining without making
Doing anything different.
Yes. And something else that I would want to add about boundaries is about boundaries with families. We have gotten to grow, and our minds are different, and we are experiencing life differently, maybe. Uh, and now there are some things that you used to do together when you were kids, and because you are family, you didn't see any other life aside from that, so you had to just conform. But now when you grow to be an adult, you realize that this we were doing this, but no,
it doesn't sit
right with me. So I think it is just important to communicate, and I think ourselves as family members, we need to be able to respect our fellow family members' boundaries. If I'm communicating and it is not being taken positively, then it's okay to just protect my peace and protect myself, maybe by disassociating with whatever.
But that's really hard. What happens when it comes to now family? Because these are people you have blood, like you're related by blood. And it's I don't know, in maybe in other cultures it happens, but back from, let's say, maybe in Kenya, it is not known of. Or I would say, for me, I think you wouldn't find someone really detaching from the family.
I agree.
They might just distance themselves, do their things separately, but not completely detached. What do you do? Because detaching from family, it is painful for you, definitely, because this is a very good support system also for you.
And the detaching part comes in when
With
now it's
other people,
but also with family. I could say when it's now maybe now starts becoming abusive. It's good to give people that space, because once you give someone that space, then maybe one day, one time, they will come to their senses that either maybe communicated this, and that is why they are trying either to distance themselves, or maybe they are not talking
to me
entirely. But the fact that it is bothering me because I communicated my boundary and it is not being taken well, and me, because now when I the thing is, when I state my boundary clearly, and that person is not doing whatever, is not actioning on my boundary, then I need to take an action, because I need to protect myself. I can't always be protecting you all the time. I need to always also protect myself. So maybe detaching might not work. Distancing yourself maybe from family might work.
would work well.
And for some time, at least try. If it is not working, then maybe you can maybe try to bring in another third party who might be able to help.
Wow, I think that's a good way to also approach it. And this has really been a good conversation. Please, if you've not watched, if you've started with this episode, go and ensure you've watched all the 3 other episodes first, about finance, mental health, and
Intellectual
development, so that you can understand, because these are questions that we've just covered from areas that we thought we did not cover in the previous topic. This has been a nice conversation, and it has been well having you guys here.
And thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. As we all say, subscribing is free.
I think that's a song I've learned right now. Yeah.
Subscribing is free. So don't forget to subscribe, comment as well. We need those questions. Tell us what you would like to hear from us.
Yes.
And as well as don't forget specifically to share with family and friends.
Yes.
And until next time,
Bye.
bye-bye.